Welcome to episode 98 of Drew's Sports Crew. Here on this Monday night, you might be wondering, where am I? I am back at the University of Wisconsin-Milwaukee. So we step that background of Packer jerseys, Brewer jerseys will not be with me here for a little bit, or for for the spring semester here, but you do have the Milwaukee Brewers flag over there. You do have the Drew Sports Crew hat still with me. So we're good. We're still supporting the teams here. Not as much Packer stuff, which, Packers aren't in season anymore. Hate to bring that back up, but look, got the Brewer flag. We're ready for baseball season, and we got basketball, as you see in this hat here. $15 is the are those Drew Sports Crew hats. Also, the Journey to a Million hats, $15 as well. Look, we have a great week of sports that has just come and gone in the Eastern Wisconsin Conference and in the state of Wisconsin. Mainly right with the Milwaukee Bucks having that commanding victory in Detroit tonight. I won't get too far ahead of myself, though. We do have to talk about what's going on in the high school world. Also about an exciting new partnership with Drew's Sports Crew. I'll touch on that here first. So it's official, right? Point Brewery and Drew's Sports Crew working together here. Point Brewery being the official brewery of Drew's Sports Crew. And not tonight. There's no Point root beer with me tonight, but trust me, there'll be some with me this week for an episode. And I'm just really looking forward to that. And, they're doing great things over there at the Stevens Point Brewery. So hopefully further things down the road, right? I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but, for now, you'll see me drinking a root beer from them, a diet root beer from them throughout some episodes here, but not tonight. And that's, again, special thanks to Point Brewery for that. So that was of course the main announcement here. Also wanted to touch on, right, Fantasia Sports. I have that down here, right? It's telling you to join Drew in Fantasia Sports. Going on with that, we have a new higher lower game mode that was released. And when I say we, I'm talking Fantasia Sports. So Fantasia Sports has this new higher lower game mode. So it's like those over-unders that you usually see, right, on any other app. But Fantasia has a new twist with it, and I'll leave it at that. You can go check that out, Fantasia Sports. We have a link down below, and that's in the link tree. So keep that in mind, and let's go to the Eastern Wisconsin Conference. So we're going to start with girls basketball. We'll touch on what has gone on in the Eastern Wisconsin Conference this past week. And, teams have just continued their dominance. But I do want to start the note off here. Brilliant actually had their second loss earlier tonight, I guess is probably the better way to say it. They lose to Utzberg, 52-47. That was at Utzberg. But they are still 9-0 in conference, 14-2 overall. So, not to discredit the Brilliant Lions on the girls' side, they still have put together a fantastic season so far, a historic season. But your standings updates, again, Brilliant 9-0 in conference, but they're 14-2 overall. New Holstein 6-3 in conference, 9-8 overall. Valdor's 5-4 in conference. They're on a nice 3-game win streak there in conference, 9-9 overall. Kiel 5-4 in conference, 10-8 overall. Chilton 5-4 in conference, 10-6 overall. Sheboygan Falls 4-5 in conference, 11-6 overall. That's interesting there. They are right now 7-1 in non-con play are the Sheboygan Falls Falcons. That might be tied for like the best non-con record. Yeah. Brilliant has a non-con, or they have 2 non-con losses. Could be the best win percentage wise. That's what I'm seeing. But anyways, we have Roncalli 2-7 in conference, 4-13 overall. Two Rivers rounds that out, 0-9 in conference, 2-15 overall. I do have your stats here. Allison Kakis still leads the way in scoring, 22.4 a game for her. And then we have in second, Grace Shizzle of New Holstein, 21 a game, 16.6 for Megan Schumann in third. Emma Edelman of Kiel in fourth, 16.3. And number 5, Addison Schwely, 15.8 a game for her. We do have then your rebounds leaders, and 4 your rebound leaders in the Eastern Wisconsin Conference. Addison Schwely, 12.6. She leads the way. Peyton Grenzer in second, 11.9. Alisa Kakis, 11.6. The assist numbers, Olivia Shue, 4.4. Alisa Kakis, 4.2. And then Alyssa Wolfel, 4.1. So I'll go, I mentioned those games. We had 2 Saturday ones and a Monday one. Sheboygan Falls, they beat Denmark by 14. Yeah, it was in Sheboygan Falls. Sheboygan Lutheran beat New Holstein at New Holstein 81-36. And I mentioned Brilliant losing to Utzberg 52-47. And so that was a close one. We have no stats, though, on that one. But I can take you to games that are going on tomorrow night. We have some non-con games in the Eastern Wisconsin Conference. We have Lomira. They got to go to Kiel. That's at 7 o'clock. And then we have one more at 7 o'clock. Plymouth at Roncalli. We have a 7:15 one. New Holstein's got to go to St. Mary Springs. And then those are your Tuesday ones. And then Friday, we go back to conference action. We had some good games in conference, too. Now the main one I'm going to highlight here, Valders and Kiel. So both teams 5-4 in the EWC play. Should be a good one at Kiel. Two Rivers and Chilton. Then's another one we have, and that's at Chilton. New Holstein, Roncalli, and then we have Brilliant, Sheboygan Falls. So Valders, Kiel for sure going to be your best bet for a good one. And again, that game's in Kiel. So I guess I don't want to get too far ahead of myself, but we have some games for next Monday. Not a lot of games going on here. But then next week they pick it up with some good conference action, some non-con action. Brilliant goes to Freedom Saturday, February 4th. And that should be a good one. We also have some other ones. We have like Sheboygan Falls got to play Kewaskum, Mishkot Brilliant. Some solid non-con games next week. So it wraps it up here for the girls EWC talk. We're going to go transition here to the boys EWC talk. And leading the way on this one is looking at the stats and standings report. We'll start with the stats here. Or no, we'll start with standings. Brilliant, right? I mentioned Brilliant for the girls. Brilliant for the boys here. 8-0 in conference, 15-0 overall. Look, Brilliant playing together so far, right? A historic season. And, they're doing 15-0 overall. I believe this is the best start in school history. I don't know when they lost last year to Valders. I don't know how many games into that they were. But if it's not their best start, it's one of the best starts. So I guess I'll just say it like that. But again, they're 8-0 in conference, 15-0 overall. They have some great wins. They're ranked number 1 in D3. Can't ask for anything more than that. Kiel is in second, and Kiel is putting together. If Brilliant was not, we would be talking about how Kiel's playing together. It's a historically great season, right? I'm just saying we would have, but I think Kiel being 15-1 might be the most quiet thing going on in the whole Eastern Wisconsin Conference, whether it's boys or girls. They're 7-1 in conference, 15-1 overall. Lone loss to Brilliant. They played a rough game. They played bad, right? There's no denying that they had a tough game against the best team in Division III in the whole state, and I do think them coming back, second time around. I really, I think this Kiel team's good, and I think they're going to give Brilliant a good fight. And who knows? They could come out with a win in that one. So I do think Kiel is very underrated, regardless of I know they have 15-1 record. So how are they underrated? But I think they're not being talked about as a 15-1 team is all. And them in number 2, a very good number 2, and at number 3 we go to Valders, who again if Kiel wasn't having this phenomenal season, Brilliant wasn't having this historic season, you'd be talking about Valders 10-4 overall. They're 6-2 in conference. It's a really good Valders team as well, but we've talked about it, right? They're the top 2 teams having that talent. Brilliant having just it's just a talented group of athletes. It really is. And Kiel, the same thing. What's going on? Just a talented group of athletes, and they have guys who can shoot the ball like lights out. I mean, it's incredible what both those rosters and all three of those rosters have collectively going on for them. Two Rivers 3-5. They're 7-8 overall. Roncalli also 3-5, and they're 5-10 overall. Then we got New Holstein and Chilton, both 2-6 in conference. New Holstein 2-14 overall. Chilton 5-9 overall. However, Chilton's played a lot better recently. I want to highlight that. They've looked like, I mean, I talked about last week, but they've looked like a lot better team as of late. So I think they're on the rise here. Sheboygan Falls 1-7, 1-12 overall, and look, Sheboygan Falls. Watched them play last week against Brilliant, but I think this Sheboygan Falls team. I talked about it last week. 1-12 being misleading for some of these records, Bob. Very misleading for a lot of these EWC teams. But look, Sheboygan Falls, they are, no exception to that. They looked like, they gave Brilliant they played them Brilliant tough for 12 minutes. And like, when I say tough, like they were winning the game for like 12 minutes. Like it was probably like 5 minutes in the first half is when, things started to not go their way. And then just one run happened and they weren't able to, have that answer back. And then it ballooned out. But Falls, they have to play a tough 36 minutes. I know that's one of the most cliche basketball expressions you'll ever hear, right? Playing, where it's 36, 40, 48. If you say NBA, you got to play a full game. And Falls, they're at the point where they'll play a full, like roughly a half. Even against Valders, I watched them play Valders. I mean, this Falls team, they'll give you a good 12, 13 minute fight. And I'm talking good. Like they were up 7. So like, I mean, when I say up 7, like they were up, to start the game. Maybe I think it was 7. They were making shots though, and they were playing really good defense. And part of it, right? Brilliant wasn't hitting some shots, but look, I mean, this team, they lose by 32 to Brilliant, but man, that those first 12, 13 minutes, that Falls can play. Just when they can play a full 36, they're young, right? They got some young guys on that team, so just want to highlight that. And they're historically well coached, right? I mean, that's something we've seen with Sheboygan Falls as well. I'll go to stats though here. I gave you a midseason report last week, so on the stat side though, Jeremy Lorenz, 21.7 a game. He leads the way in scoring. Cole Hovey and Pierce Arns. Hovey from Valders, Arns from Kiel. Both tied for scoring, 18.6 for each. Brady Richards at 4, 16.4. Max Miller rounds it out, 15.5. Grant Munn's on top for rebounds, 12.8 a game for him. 11.9 for Jeremy Lorenz. Cole Hovey at number 3, 8.8 a game. On the assist side, Parker Brown, 6.5 assists. Pierce Arns, number 2, with 5 assists a game. And then Will Fearbringer, 4.2 assists. So that rounds out your stats and standing report. But I got to go to the schedule. I got to tell you what's going on. We had some games last week, right? We had that conference slate where we saw Chilton beat Roncalli by 4. I think that was the game, that was probably my biggest takeaway, right? The other ones going in outcomes we expected. Kiel beating New Holstein, Brilliant beating Sheboygan Falls, Valley's beating Two Rivers, but that was at the jet hangar. I should have added, right? I mean, that's kind of what made it even more impressive. But Max Miller, 25 points he had in that one. He shot 4 for 7 from 3, and he was 50% from the field, 9 of 18. I think that was, of course, crucial when, right, you have your best player taking 18 of your 48 shots. I'd love to see that. But really what was crucial for Chilton was, their defense, right? I mean, I got to go there right away. Roncalli didn't shoot too well from the field, but looking at it, right, Roncalli's leading scorer in this one was Connor Kubish, and he had 15 in that one. Other in double digits, Brain Yonda, 11 for him. So bring that up. I mean, Will Fuhrbringer of Chilton at 14, an underrated game. What was it? It was 6. He shot 6 of 8 from the line, 4 from 8 from the field. Just making sure we got these stats here accurately reported. Looks good to me. Again, Chilton, they didn't win the turnover battle, but they played well enough to win the game here. 36 rebounds to 23. I mean, you look at that, you can tell who won the game, right? I mean, when you win the rebound battle by that much, turnovers relatively even, and then field goal percentages were relatively even. The team with the most rebounds is going to win. Usually is how it works out. Worked out in this one. Chilton gets a 4-point victory at the Jet Hangar. So impressive stuff from Chilton there. But I'll move over here and I'll go to next week's. When I say move over, moving the schedule over to the next week here. We have some conference action tomorrow night. We got Brilliant's got to go to Two Rivers. Keel's going to Sheboygan Falls. Roncalli to New Holstein. Valor's going to Chilton. Let's see how Valders plays against this Chilton team. Again, they're getting hot. They're playing some of their best ball the whole season so far. Intrigued to see how they do, but you got like Brilliant against Two Rivers in TR. Right? You got like Keel in that one. You got to like Roncalli in that one, but who knows? They're both on 4-game losing streaks right now, and I think that Roncalli New Holstein game could be a good one in New Holstein. So I'm intrigued about, or I'm looking forward to, the Roncalli New Holstein, Valders Chilton. I think, those are some matchups I'm interested to see how they turn out here. We do have some non-con games on Thursday. We got Chilton's got to go Sheboygan South. It's a Division I squad. But then we have St. Lawrence Seminary's got to go New Holstein. Those are both 7 o'clock on Thursday. We got Roncalli Random Lake on Saturday. That's a 5 o'clock game. Also, next Monday, we got Brilliant at Freedom at 7 o'clock. So don't want to get too far ahead of myself. New Holstein at Winnebago Lutheran, 7:15. That's the farthest I'll go. Otherwise, I'll keep reading them. I'll keep talking about them. But that's going to wrap it up here for the EWC talk. Special thanks to Wiz Sports WSN for, providing here the stats standings. And go check them out. That link will be down below. Let's go to the Milwaukee Bucks here. We're going to stick to basketball, but we're going to go to the professional basketball. And we're going to go there, and we're going to talk about how the Bucks put up a season-high 150 points against the Detroit Pistons. You might be like, how do they do that, right? I mean, people have been hurt. The team has not been playing their best ball. There's been some issues, right? Serge Ibaka has not been with the team. And guess what? They put up 150 points. Chris Middleton and Giannis Antetokounmpo are back. That's how they do it. Giannis Antetokounmpo is a plus 26 in this one. Puts up 29 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists. He shot 17 free throws as well. Pretty hefty number. But the big story for me, right? Middleton being back. Plays only 15 minutes. Had 8 points. He played all right, right? It was 8 points, 2 rebounds, 4 assists. Okay. Did have 6 turnovers, though. I did not include that. I didn't want to, but 3 fouls. Again, he was on a minutes restriction. He's rusty, right? I mean, he hasn't played a lot of basketball at all this year. And I know we're going to get Chris Middleton back, to Chris Middleton after a few of these games. Like, this is basically to some extent, these are like preseason games to him with how much basketball he's played so far this year. So not really that worried on that note, but Brook Lopez, really haven't highlighted him as much this year, but like he had 21 points. This might be one of his like best seasons with the Milwaukee Bucks. And I'm saying that now, right? After coming back, having surgery last year, missing a lot of time, wondering if, he was going to if he was starting a decline, right? And decline in performance, but defensively, right? He's up in the NBA in blocks per game. Defensive player of the year. I'm working on defensive player of the year ladder, like rankings, and right now he's like number 3 between 3 and 5 for like top defenders in the league. in my rankings, and with that, I mean, he's just been a crucial part to this Bucks team, and him being out there has been very important. Pat Connaughton played 26 minutes plus 39. He only had 6 points though. So, I mean, that's talk about putting together valuable minutes. Pretty cool to see. Had no turnovers. You know, only shot the ball 3 times, but it was the team was efficient when he was there. Some of that might be maybe he was out with Giannis and Giannis went on a run, right? I mean, there's a lot of things that are baked into plus minus that it's hard to say how good of a stat it can be. But Grayson Allen had a great game as well. Bobby Portis had another great game, 8 for 12 from the field, 10 rebounds, another double double for Bobby. It was just a good game for everyone. 6 for 8 from 3 was Javon Carter. And that was where he only took threes tonight, but in 16 minutes. Like, come on. Marjon Beauchamp was 3 for 6, made a 3 tonight. Just everything for this team is going right, is how I would word it. And that is what you saw here. Defense, he gave up 130 points, though. And yeah, I mean, we saw Bogdanovic have himself a game, 11 for 15 from the field, 33 points. Won't highlight too much in just one game, but it was just good to see right that. I really want to highlight this game, and it just took place too. Right? I mean, that was the other thing. Recording here Monday night. Love to see that. They have a tough one, though, coming up. They play Denver. I actually, in my prediction challenge, I have them losing this one. This Denver offense is very good. Very talented group. Of course, Nikola Jokic highlights that group, but I mean, they have some other guys like Jamal Murray, Michael Porter Jr. is playing Wednesday. It's a good group. It's a group that, they could win. I mean, they could outscore the Bucks is all I'm saying. So that's kind of like, that's how you win the game, of course, but they have the offense that, not too many teams we feel offensively can outscore the Bucks, but Denver has an offense that could do that. Friday, Bucks got to go to Indiana. I like them in that game without Halliburton. Sunday, then they host New Orleans. That game might be tough, but New Orleans dealing with some injuries. Hopefully, Middleton will continue this rise in minutes. I'm not sure how long the 15-minute restriction will continue. Hopefully, we go up like to 20 on Wednesday, or we'll wait and see kind of what kind of restriction they're operating with. I've not seen anything on that note, but just want to keep that in mind for that. And look, I mean, we got Milwaukee Brewer baseball coming back soon. Like, that's the other big thing. Really looking forward to that. Just thinking about my Milwaukee sports. So the Milwaukee Panthers, in case anyone has not heard, they're off to their best 10-game start for the Horizon League, or since 2005 to 2006 when they made the Sweet 16. Just want to throw that fact in there. They are off to their best start in 17 seasons, right, in conference play. So, look, it's, if you care about Horizon League basketball, you got to like that. Other Milwaukee basketball teams, let's think. What's Marquette ranked? Marquette checks in at number 16 today, right? I mean, it's a perfect time to be a Milwaukee basketball fan. The Milwaukee Bucks 30-17 right now. Milwaukee Panthers, they're actually, I saw they're like mid-major rankings, right, that are done. The Bucks check in on the mid-major rankings as well. So I think that's good to see. Right? I mean, of course, they're Division I, but they don't have that resume or the wins. They have some losses that would make them a top 25 in the nation team, but it's good to see them gain some recognition wide. And I've actually seen a lot of brackets, people have done in the industry, and I've seen Milwaukee on them. I've seen Milwaukee as the team that gets the Horizon League bid. So it's really cool to see. Otherwise, that's all I had here for the Wisconsin sports. Again, some more announcements here before we wrap up. Wednesday, you'll find Journey to a Million. It'll be roughly 5 to 5:30 p.m. Around there, you'll find that. And that'll again will be Wednesday. We'll be talking about what happened in the divisional game. We'll be talking about, 49ers moving on. We'll talk about what's going to go on with the Cowboys' future. You'll hear us talk about, the Bengals putting together one of the most impressive games we've seen them play. I'm in a long time. I know last year, right? They have that Super Bowl run. They beat the Chiefs, right? But honestly, I mean, I thought that game that they put together on Sunday was impressive. So we'll talk about that. But otherwise, you have Drew's Basketball Crew episode 15 will be coming your way. We might do the Friday slate. I'm thinking Thursday night. I'll preview Fridays. I'll have that up. I'll have my lineups all ready so we can, win on Friday, win that slate. And that, again, is Friday, January 27th. So, again, those are the announcements. And that's going to wrap it up for myself, Drew Skyberg, at Drew Sports Crew on all social media platforms. You'll find that. And again, I'll wrap it up here for myself, Drew Skyberg, here on this Monday night. Thank you all for listening to yet another episode of Drew's Sports Crew, the perfect podcast for you.